I'm Marc Alan here on Cash 22. We'll bring in young, up-and-coming professionals and have them mentored right here on the show in a variety of different fields and professions. You were made to do amazing things with your career. So let's get started. Hi, welcome back to Cash 22. I'm Marc Alan, and we're filming here at Banz36, which is an innovative workout studio, which we'll learn more about here tonight. And I'm here with two special guests. We have Greg Smith, the owner of Banz36, and also Joseph M'Mwirichia. I hope I pronounced that right. Is that correct? Maybe you can say that for us, Joseph.
M'Mwirichia.
M'Mwirichia. I actually asked Joseph several times how to say that name, but still sinking in, so I'll get there eventually. But Greg here, he's the owner of Banz36. And Greg, we want to get to know you a little bit first, and then we'll talk to Joseph, and then on the latter part of this program, we'll have a bit of a mentoring session where, Greg, you can share some of your experience in the business for many years with Joseph, who's been doing this part-time along with a day job. So we should have a very interesting discussion tonight.
Very good.
Yeah, great. So Greg, first let's hear about this program, Banz36. What's it all about?
Well, to me, it's about helping people. That's really why I got into this business to begin with. Teaching, motivating, holding people accountable. And to me, that's what personal trainers do. My whole concept here is just giving people an advantage by having somebody taking an active interest in their success. And success to me when it comes to fitness is being motivated to eat healthy, exercise on a regular basis, aerobic activity, resistance training, but having the knowledge of knowing what to do and then being inspired and motivated to do it. And that's really what Banz36 is all about, is giving people really mentoring and helping them stay motivated to exercise and eat healthy. And I've developed that into a center that is practical for people to do on a regular basis.
Right, it's very different. I hadn't seen that before I came in here with the poles and the bands and everything. How did you come up with that concept?
Really, high intensity interval training is just that. That's what most personal trainers we train on, because we figure clients, want to get really great results, of course. And to get the best results, and people are so limited on time, you want to be able to get their heart rates elevated, at the same time, staying in their aerobic training zone, so they're getting a really good cardiovascular workout, which is very important, not just for losing weight, but for health. And at the same time, working and toning all of the muscles of the body. And resistance bands are a great way to do that. They're a tool. Of course, there's other tools that we use, dumbbells, equipment, but I developed the system with bands, so it's very versatile. I can take a client and move them from one exercise to the next very quickly and do a complete overall body workout at the same time while we're training them through those series of movements.
And what does the name symbolize, Bands and 36? I understand the bands, the 36 is an interval. Is that correct?
36 minutes is the typical minimum workout. Okay. So 36 minutes at least 3 days a week, is... Is
that something you came up with, or why 36?
Well, really, I've always believed anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes of good training 3 to 4 days a week is something that's optimal that we should all be doing. But again, most people have to be what I call that self-motivator and figure out what to do. My whole concept is to give them a way to do that in a facility that is going to, that's in the community that I'm in, Ann Arbor, that's practical for them to come in and do that.
Okay. So let's talk about your life a little bit and your career. We're going to go back to when you were maybe in high school.
Okay.
Were you very into fitness? Did you do sports?
I did. I played football in high school.
Okay.
Basketball, really for my church league. I never was good enough to really play for the high school. Always active as a kid, played Little League, baseball, growing up. I was always in some type of league every summer. And believe it or not, I grew up almost in a health club. My mother was a manager of a health club called Spa Lady as I was growing up. So I was used to go to the nursery.
Okay, so you literally grew up in a health club?
Literally.
Still here?
I did.
So it feels like home being in a health club for you?
It did, and it was something that I always was kind of interested in. And, you know, I went into the military after high school and stayed in the Army. I was in the Army for 4 years. And as soon as I came out of the military, I just figured that this is the career that I wanted to go into, and that was back in 1988. And since 1988, I've worked in clubs, I've been certified in personal training, and just been in this business for, you know, a very long time. You mentioned this is a career you decided to go into. Were there other things that you considered at that time, or did you already know for sure? I was about 80% sure. You know, when I got out of the military, my brother was actually working in a club, and I considered I had a job offer at a furniture store.
Okay, a little different.
A little different, and you know, I think, well, do I want to do something different, you know, than what my brother is doing, and you know, my mom growing up, and my dad was in the food industry growing up, but really just after looking at, you know, talking to my brother and seeing the type of, he really just enjoyed doing it. And for me, seeing not only his joy in doing it, but he was also able to help people in the process of through training. And when I started back in the fitness business in 1988, I didn't even know what a personal trainer was back then. And today, as I said, you know, we've all got into personal training, and of course there's a lot of folks who don't have that, but it was all about customer service. We stayed out on the workout floor helping people. Everybody that joined the gym had a workout card, and we would write down their weights that they would use, the equipment. It was just very organized, and even if we saw them doing something incorrectly, we would, you know, be right there to help them. And kind of getting back to one of the reasons I started Banz is as a consultant, and doing that over the past 5 years, I started to see that kind of go away. It's there, but it was so expensive in most health clubs for personal training. I just wanted to come up with an affordable option to help people have that same exact type of personal training experience, but without having to pay as much, you know, for as you would typically at a regular health club. Okay,
so you mentioned you were in consulting. You would work with health clubs on their programs, or what did you do?
I did. I really came up, a business partner of mine, we came up with a weight loss program and a nutritional plan to really help people to be able to wake up every morning and have a plan to follow. We would, you know, provide grocery lists and food logs, and to me, that's when I was doing consulting, a lot of health clubs didn't have that nutritional component in there and that coaching component. So we would, mainly I was focusing on that when I was doing consulting, weight loss, and helping clubs really throughout the country develop a weight loss strategy, because the weight loss market typically is way bigger than the fitness market. And just showing them how to tap into that segment other than just fitness. And to me, it kind of all goes together, because to lose weight, you have to exercise and you have to, you know, eat right and be inspired again and motivated to do both. But that was really my focus over that 5-year period. But I was also seeing that there was a need for something like this because of that very reason, because of the only options at the club other than they didn't have nutrition, of course, but the only options was a regular membership and then personal training. There was nothing in between. And the 80% of the folks that didn't have the trainer, again, were on their own. So I wanted to develop, and through consulting, me and my partner came up with this plan, and it's been very successful.
Oh, that's great.
And seems to be growing.
That's wonderful. We'd like to learn a little bit more about what it's like to launch a business like this. And you're not only doing personal training and fitness coaching, but you're also running a business. Were those some new skills you had to learn along the way?
Well, not really. I mean, I had owned a fitness club in Clemson, South Carolina for 7 years.
Okay.
So, I mean, I had owned clubs before I got into consulting. So, and that was at a fairly young age. I was, I think, 26 when I had my first club, and sold that, and then went on to manage clubs from there. Opened another club in Greenville, South Carolina, sold that club, and then that's when I got into consulting for that 5-year period, prior to opening here. So I've had some experience in running and operating
that's great.
clubs.
So owning a club at age 26, how did you manage to purchase the club in the first place?
Really, I was running a Gold's Gym in Greenville, South Carolina, and a friend of mine that I had worked with had called me and said that he had an opportunity to purchase a club, and it was a really good deal in Clemson. And came up with a figure, and I was able to come up with that amount of money. And I said, yeah, I would like to own my own business, and it just all worked out. And 7 years later, we were able to sell that club for a pretty good profit.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
So it just worked out.
Oh, good.
And it really just because of the friend of mine. I really wasn't at that time. I figured I would just work for someone for all those years, but it's just an opportunity that came along at a young age. I was just very fortunate.
Is this something that your parents had envisioned you doing as a child, or are they supportive of this career path you've taken?
Well, pretty supportive. My father especially, very conservative. Work get a job at a plant and get your 401k, and like Michelin is a big plant and factory in South Carolina. But that's just the time that he grew up in. But I've always felt like my career would take a different path than that, and I just wanted to do something that I enjoyed. And I don't even look at this as work, really. You get to get up every day and try to help people and come up with unique ways to invite people in, and it's just so neat that you can see. And I mean, I check people's body fat percentage, their weight, their measurements. Every 18 workouts, we're checking what they're doing and just seeing the difference and the excitement that they have. And it's just because they're consistent, because that we really just hold folks accountable to be here 3 days a week. So it's just a rewarding career.
Right. That's great. I think that's what everyone looks for in a career, is that it doesn't feel like work and you're having fun while you're doing it. So it's wonderful that you found that. So we're going to spend a little time now getting to know you, Joseph, and learn about your career so far and what you'd like to do in the future with the career. So maybe first tell us what brought you to America from Africa originally.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Kenya, and Ugandan born, about Kenyan by citizenship, and came to the U.S. after high school to pursue what at that time was a pre-med degree at Michigan State. Go grade, I gotta say that. Have to.
Sure.
And so it's been for me, it was a journey, obviously, of personal growth, right? You leave your whole family at home, you come out here, and see what you're made of. Being out by yourself, no family in the U.S.
No family. You came by yourself.
Came by myself.
Wow.
I was by the airport. Almost good luck, but kind of deal. And but it's been a great 17 years in Michigan. Graduated from Michigan State and came down to Ann Arbor.
And you played sports at Michigan State?
I played I played club rugby for Michigan State, which was great. Played the intramural, soccer, and I did not run, which is, I know, being from Kenya is kind of interesting. But I came in the winter, so that was a deal breaker. So.
Okay. Yeah. Why are the Kenyans such great runners, by the way, since you mentioned running?
No clue.
culture.
Some of it is the terrain where most of them come from, high altitude. So being able to train in very poor oxygen conditions of better lung capacity, so you get some of that. But I think a lot of it's just a training regimen. from some genetics, I'm sure. I think somebody's done a paper on that. I think there is
I'm
one
sure
out
there's
there.
been plenty.
There's been plenty of
topic.
it, but yeah.
Okay, great. So you went to Michigan State, studied biochemistry,
Yes.
correct? And then
Yes.
you graduated and work in biochemistry research?
Yes, I'm actually, I work for a company called Rubicon Genomics that's local here in Ann Arbor, and specializing in technologies that enable researchers to work with difficult samples in RNA, DNA, and really look at the next generation science field. So it's been great.
That's really interesting. And then part-time, you also have a passion for fitness and health, which is why you're here today.
Yes, I do.
And you have an Herbalife program?
Yes, I do. I've been a coach with Herbalife now for 13, I think going on 14 years, 13 years. And I just love the fact that, you mentioned being able to really touch people from a nutrition perspective, because like you've noticed that a lot of people work out, but there's no nutrition part of that, where we believe that it's 80% nutrition and 20% exercise. So they come work out, and then what they do after that, and it's been great. I got amazing results, and we've been able to help impact the community through that, and then also now fitness activities.
Okay. And Joseph, I understand you have a family as well,
Yes.
correct? 4 kids?
Yes. I have a family of 4. 7, Peter, I can tell them the names. Big shout out to you guys. Peter, McKenna, Andrew, and Ethan. 7, 5, 3, and 1. So it's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And the ages are always changing, so I can understand that. I have kids too. People ask me the ages, and I have to take a time.
Exactly. You have to kind of think about it. Exactly.
Well, I have 1, so it's easy to.
Okay, yeah, that's
20.
good. She's 20. All right, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So having a family, a full-time day job, and the Herbalife job or side job, I'm not sure how you'd like to refer to it, but a lot of
it's fun. I think
a lot of hats
says,
that you wear.
Yeah.
How do you balance all of that?
That's a great question. I haven't figured it out yet. I really haven't. But I think it's one of those things where when you're passionate about what you're doing, I don't know about balance, and I'm brand new. I want that's one of the questions I'm actually going to ask you later on.
Sure.
Maybe we could just throw it out right here. It's like, I don't know if there's actually balance, or do you counterbalance? That sometimes like you're the best coach out there, and other times like you're the best dad. I don't know if you can actually like, on any given day, we struggle with that. It's working, of course, with the family, enrolling the family in the vision, what you're doing, what you're out there, and the kids are like, "Oh, where are you going? Are you going to go help somebody?" But it's enrolling the whole family, because this is our deal. It's a family deal,
Right.
and making sure that they're okay with what you're doing out in the community.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So of the many things you do for work in the day and with Herbalife, what are the types of activities that you enjoy most? Is it one-on-one coaching with people, or what types of things get you most excited?
Oh, I'm jacked up. I think it's everything. It's people.
Okay.
It's really just being able, and I think, Greg, you can relate, just being able to work with somebody and seeing their progression and seeing
Absolutely.
them just kind of create amazing breakthroughs, I love work. I mean, work kind of fulfills my analytical side of things, and creating breakthroughs there and enabling tons of research in that department. But I think I'm a people person, and just being able to work with people, groups of people, one-on-one, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, that's great.
It doesn't matter.
And at this point in your career, what do you see yourself doing for the next 10 years? Are you going to, transition from one position to the next, or, maybe you can't say because you have other people.
Can I plead the fifth on that? No, I don't know. But it's one of those things where, like, I think, like Greg said, it's part of who you are. Like, being a health and fitness coach is who I am. So that's definitely something I'll be doing for the rest of my life, right? When that transition happens, who knows, right? But it's something that I am. You wake up, you're a coach. You wake up, you're a trainer. You wake up. It's just a way.
Part of your identity.
It's a way of being.
So,
Yeah,
right.
It's not so much what I do; it's who I am. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a nice way to think about it.
Yeah.
So what would be an obstacle standing in your way of opening up your own gym like Banz36?
Oh my gosh! First of all, I don't know if I have the capability of opening up a Banz36. This is absolutely amazing.
Maybe not the same program. Your own.
I could help you.
program,
You can
whatever
help
it
me
is.
exactly. We can take that offline.
if
Which
this
is
is
great.
something you'd like to
Absolutely.
do.
I think a lot of it is two things in my opinion. One, being able to really dedicate your time to it. You know, it's not something that you can open and let somebody else do, in a sense, because they're not you. They don't really have your vision necessarily. So for me, it'll be one of the biggest things, being able to dedicate my time to it, and then also finding amazing team members. Okay, I think that's really what. It's not so much the space; it's what you're creating in the space, and having people that actually have the same vision that you do, and they're able to create that environment where people will come in, feel absolutely amazing, get rocking results, and then come back. Right, that's the key. Come back. Yes, it was a little bit sore, but I came back for more. You know, because of the environment, and that's what. That's what. So being able, again, a quick question on the obstacles, just. At what point am I able to actually give that and do that? So.
Right. So maybe we'll transition more to a conversation between the three of us.
Sure.
And on this topic, Greg, what's something that Joseph could consider when he's looking at partners to work with or other people to go into business with?
Well, he said it right. I mean, one of the major things you have to do in this business is be in it with the people that are also in it for the right reasons. And you know, the person who's running the facility makes the facility. I mean, it kind of takes on the environment. I mean, it takes on the personality of the person who's running the show. And you have to be, you know, working with folks that are inspired and motivators. But that is one of the biggest obstacles, I think, in growing any business is personnel. So you have to, you know, and that's what I look for, are not just any personnel, but people who I view as partners, who are wanting to work with me and to get into this into this business for the right reasons and help people, and then it can grow from there. And time, like you said, I mean, you have to. I mean, when you're doing other things, I mean, it's kind of probably a little scary to just jump in to doing something like this until you know are sure that it's something that, because if you're leaving something else and going into something new, it's always a little bit scary in that process.
And before you moved up here from South Carolina, you had somebody else running the operation here for you, is that right?
I did, because I had other obligations that I had to really take care of before I could come to Ann Arbor and really put 100% of my time and effort into here. So I did, and it was going really, really well. And but it's just since I've been here, we are even expanding more and even growing at a faster rate.
Okay. And do you have roots in Ann Arbor?
Not really.
No, just started?
No,
So,
I'm starting new roots in Ann Arbor.
And I guess, like you, Joseph, you came to a new place without plans to permanently settle here, and you're here still. You know, what are your thoughts, Greg, on choosing a location for a business? Is it just where the market's best, or
it really is. I mean, there's so many factors with that now. We were speaking earlier about how fragmented the fitness industry is now. I mean, there's so many options that people have. So I mean, it's always going to be a little bit scary when you go into any market when you're opening up a new club. And even if you look on television now, people are, you know, buying in workout DVD series, Beachbody tapes. I mean, it's not like it was when I started. There just weren't that many fitness centers. So you have to have a niche when you go into a market, and that's really what I believe that from doing consulting and having 25 years of experience, that I've been able to come up with a niche that has been missing. So I feel I can be competitive with anyone in almost any market, because there is a need for good coaches and a system like this that teaches and motivates and holds people accountable at an affordable rate that you typically can't get just going into a YMCA or to a Gold's Gym or almost any fitness center now in the country. That, again, going back to the only two options are they join, they go through a personal training workout, they are offered personal training for whatever the price is. You know, it can be $40, $50, $60 a session. But there's just a lot of people out there that aren't going to take advantage of that, that need a service like this. So to me, that kind of opens up a broader market. And I think, any town or city of, 30,000 plus people with health clubs again on every corner, there's got to be a certain segment of that population that could take advantage or who would want to take advantage of something like this, an affordable option for personal training and nutrition. And just with the experience I have in marketing and being able to bring that to a community, it's successful, but it just takes experience.
So Ann Arbor seemed like a good place to set up shop?
Well, it did. I met my business partner here, Angelique, and I was actually here consulting for a Snap Fitness in Canton. And she had a relationship with the owner there. She was an investor with him, and she asked me what else I was doing, and I explained this concept, and she was just really interested. She also has a passion for helping people. And so, it just turned into, more conversations, and January of last year, we found the space, and I came in, did the grand opening. And fortunately, with the other obligations that I had, as I said earlier, I was just able to come back about 2 months ago to take it over. Well, about a month and a half ago.
A couple of months ago.
Take it back over,
Okay.
yeah.
And I imagine it's very different being here in person and running the business. You get a feel for the customers, develop those relationships.
Oh, absolutely. And it seems like the people in Ann Arbor are really, really nice.
They're amazing.
I like it here.
That's
I'm
good.
definitely enjoying the area.
All right. Joseph, you do marketing for Herbalife as
Yeah.
well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What are some things that have worked well for you in terms of finding new clients to work with?
It's interesting. We do a lot one-on-one. Just we always, always branded, right? So always out in the marketplace. I'm always branded. Always have something on that says Herbalife on it, and a lot of our social media.
Okay.
But the biggest thing, and I think Greg can also attest that, is results, right? It's
Absolutely.
people getting results, and then referring you to their we call them center of influence, just their loved ones, people they care about. We have different programs. We have programs we run that are more community-based, boot camps, either in the parks or, again, public display of people just walking out and people ask questions, hey, who are you guys? And this is who we are, this is what we do, this is what we're committed to in the community. So a lot of different angles. Social media has been big, and just word of mouth. Yeah.
Do you have teammates that you work with?
Yes, I
also?
do. Yes, I do have teammates. I have 5 partners in the club. I make that 4. Mike and Denise and Andrew and Jackie, and it's been a great partnership. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Do you have plans in the future to dedicate more time to Herbalife?
Absolutely.
Is it something
Yes, I can definitively
I want to
answer
spend
that.
more hours of the day.
Yes.
I know you have other things to balance.
Yes. I do. It's actually hopefully be easy as the kids get older. I can bring them to more things.
Okay.
Because all our events are very family oriented. Even our community boot camps, we call them our fit camps, are family oriented. So a lot of, if you go on social media, you'll see a lot of pictures of the kids running around and trying to do their own workouts. So it's awesome. So yeah, definitely plan on doing that. Yeah.
Okay. So Greg, let's hear about culture of your business and the people you work with. Do you try to keep it a fun atmosphere and make sure you do activities with the people you work with, or how do you run a business and make it fun in the culture?
Well, really, that's part of it. You try to make working out and exercising as fun as possible. With this type of workout, it's certainly not as tedious as being on a treadmill, for instance, for 30 or 36 minutes in this
And
case.
you have music going.
We have music. We have music going, but they're constantly moving, and we're moving from one exercise to the next. So it's definitely not boring. And of course, when your heart rate is elevated and you're getting a workout, you've got some endorphins going, so you're really feeling good. But it's just, with me, it's all about movement. When you walk in the door, you want people moving and exercising and just being as motivating as you can, and being training that person right there. they feel like, I call it, you're driving them through a workout. So they want to get to the next movement. They don't want to quit. They want to finish, but also being safe about it at the same time. Now that the weather is getting better, we've got the parking lot out here, so we'll be doing some more things outside. So just keeping that variety going, so it's just doesn't get stale and monotonous, which a typical workout can do that. I mean, when you're at a regular fitness center, I mean, a leg extension is a leg extension, a treadmill is a treadmill. I mean, there's only so many different things you can do. But when you're training someone, there's just different ways and different angles and things you can do to keep it fresh and new and exciting. And then you get better results doing that, so you don't plateau.
That's a really interesting topic. In fact, I've seen Pilates and I've seen other programs that have gained popularity and then maybe waned a little bit over the years. How do you plan to keep things fresh with Banz36 for the long term?
Well, you kind of see in the fitness center, a lot of things come around, they come full circle over the years. But, to me, I try to keep, in my mind, I try to keep it simple. That there's only so many ways you can get your heart rate elevated into your aerobic training. So you do it through swimming, walking, biking, circuit training, interval training, as we're doing. But to me, it just comes down to results, and people are going to flock to the place that they feel like they can get the best results. I don't know any other way or any better way to help people get results than that type of interval training that you're doing by combining cardiovascular with resistance training. But just, I don't know how it can, over the next, 15 years, there's no telling what else will come up with. But until technology changes, I mean, there's only so many things that we can do. But personal training seems to be the best way to help people to stay inspired and motivated to get the results.
Have there been any times in your career where you felt like maybe you didn't adapt fast enough looking back? Is there any advice you can share with Joseph in terms of when to make the next move and when to progress?
I mean, really, you always have to kind of, always try to stay focused on what I'm doing, but also be aware of what else is going out there on in the industry that you're in. I mean, is somebody coming to town that's going to be offering something unique and different than you do? Like we're going to be offering yoga here starting at the middle of April. But, just being aware of the market and what's going on around you. I mean, I try to have mixed feelings about that because I always just try to focus on what I'm doing, but you also have to be aware of what else is going on. If something new is coming on that, is a hot thing at that time, do you want to incorporate that into what you're doing?
And I also imagine that during your career, there's been some frustrating moments when you felt like, oh, maybe I should be doing something else, or this is getting exhausting. I don't know if I have the energy to do this. Have there been times like that?
Well, I think so. In the beginning, I might have mentioned when I first started, I worked for Bally's, which was pretty high pressure. I mean, it was so sales driven. I mean, you had to come to work every day. We had to have 5 appointments, and you had to, again, I mentioned earlier, staying on the workout floor, helping people. But, if you didn't have appointments coming in every day, I mean, they would send you home. Then, so I mean, it was really, and I didn't really like that part of the business. That, it was all about the money. It seemed like, and they were just driving sales so much. So, you can kind of lose your way and lose your focus if you had just about the money. It was just the pressure of that. So believe me, I considered leaving. Actually, did leave and went to work for a company that just had a better vision and it worked out really well.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but I did definitely that part of the business that definitely made me have second thoughts.
Okay, I can imagine. What helps keep you motivated, Joseph, to keep doing your day job and this, and keep the energy level up?
I think it's the for me it's a vision that I have, right? So one of the things I'm very passionate about is people elevating and living their life on purpose and with grace and passion. That's kind of what my mission statements become. And I see I see more and more people. I see families being active. I see communities transformed. There's like a bigger vision, you know. I think I talked about a £1 million weight loss goal. You know, I'm like, that would be amazing. But it's not so much for the £1 million. It's like, what does that mean? You know, what does that mean to the people? And what does that mean for the communities? What does that mean for the families? You know, just having, so that's what gets me juiced up. And it's kind of seeing, and every new result, you know, because sometimes there is dry days, right? In every career, I think there's some dry moments where, you know, nothing is moving. It's like, or you're doing marketing and you're like, no results, nothing's changing. But then you get that one person that shows up and gets an amazing result, and that just kind of just like, this is why I'm doing this, you know, and it's gonna get you fired up again. So
absolutely, that's the juice that keeps you going.
It keeps you going.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because nobody's story is the same. Nobody's story is ever the same, you know, and being able to be a part of those stories. And then you have your clients that come back and you become part of their family. You become part of, you know, you help somebody lose weight, you help somebody overcome an injury or disability of some kind, and they never forget what you did for them. And they will remind you over and over again, you know, especially after you've established that relationship. And that's what keeps you going, because that doesn't get old. You know? That doesn't get old.
Right.
You've been doing it for 25
Well
years.
said.
You know?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Are there personal habits that help you to be successful, such as making sure you get 8 hours of sleep at night?
Oh my gosh! Did you say 8 hours of sleep?
Yeah. I mean, ideally, what it
7, 5, 3, 1. No, there's no 8 hours of sleep. I think it's you know, your success is in your daily habits, right? And so when we actually, and I'm sure Greg does the same thing, when you're working with somebody, you're trying to get them to start developing new habits. It doesn't mean they're going to change overnight. So things like making sure I get my breakfast in, things like making sure I get my 3 meals in, you know, just little things like that. And then as far as like on like the vision and the goals, I do a lot of, we focus on this concept called, it's 80, 20, 100. You know, it's like 80% nutrition, it's 20% exercise, it's 100% mindset. It's like, why am I doing this? You know, why am I doing this? Why am I going after my goal? Why am I coming to see Greg, you know, in Banz36? Why am I doing this? And when you get to that why, that's what keeps you going. So I focus on a lot in mindset. So we talk about mindset all the time with our guys, with our clients, always talk about mindset. Yeah, how's the meal plan, Greg? You know, how is your mindset? Where are you at? You know, how is that why? Is it still burning? Or do you need to change a different why? You know, and sometimes the goals change, right? Somebody comes in, they're trying to lose weight, they lose 30 pounds, and all of a sudden they on the run a 5K. That's a whole different ballgame, right? But it's the kind of things that keep them going as their goals change, as they get new results, that lifestyle now becomes part of, like I said, part of who you are and not necessarily what you do. So, yeah.
And how about for you, Greg? Are there books you read or podcasts or things that keep you motivated to work hard?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm constantly reading magazines like Men's Health and Fitness and Shape magazine, and then just, you know, constantly inspirational books that I'll read. But again, and just to touch on something that you said, I mean, for me now, there's such an epidemic with health problems like type 2 diabetes. And you look at type 2 diabetes, go back, I can't remember growing up many adults having type 2 diabetes, but it's come along and come to pass because of all the poor nutritional choices that people have been making, and that's what you were talking about is nutrition. I remember growing up watching cartoon characters advertise cheap processed food that I call it, like Kool-Aid, busting through the wall saying, hey, Kool-Aid. And McDonald's, when I was growing up, I was born in 1965, had Mayor McCheese and Ronald McDonald. And all of these enticing things, and even having toys at McDonald's for kids to you know, to really, and to me, that's how I look at it. I got hooked on all of that stuff when I was a kid, and sugar, complex carbohydrates, all of those things are so addictive. And the more of sugar, I know I ate horribly, and I hate to admit it, but I ate horribly for 38 years of my life. I was insatiable with the food that I ate, and the more sugar I ate, the more I wanted it. But between 36 and 38 years old, I put on about 20 pounds, and I was still working out, but my energy levels were going down. I just wasn't feeling as well. And like you said, 80-20 nutrition, it was starting to catch up to me. My body had reached its tipping point where it couldn't handle all of that stuff, but it was so addictive, and I started reading and researching and finding out that even my cells weren't regenerating in a healthy manner because I was just feeding it junk all of the time. And that is really what I have found manifest itself into type 2 diabetes and all, and I don't want to even mention the other health risks that we all know that are out there. And that's one of the things, even at Banz36, and I know you're working on with Herbalife, is to help people to feed their body right, to give it the nutrition that it needs, to create an environment that can start to heal itself. But yeah, that's just one of the main focuses, just like you said, nutrition. Exercise is great, and we've got exercise, but we also have to eat right. And that's another big mission of mine at Banz36. Again, just like I know you're working on, to help people move in that direction. And we have a nutritional plan that can help folks do that as well.
Okay.
I might just piggyback on that real quick, because when you're talking about earlier when you talked about the missing element, a lot of people have access to gyms, right? And gyms you can go in all the time. What a lot of people don't have access to is a one-on-one help on the nutrition.
Sure.
And they may go to a nutrition center or a doctor, or it doesn't matter, but they don't have that almost a daily accountability or a lot of touches, right? Like a lot of touches, and that's what Greg's able to offer here, and that's what we do as well. And that's, I think, a big element that's missing as people really try to go after their results, and they get frustrated and they go, oh, this doesn't work. I've been working out for 6 months, I don't see any results, I should forget this. But it's because the 80% was not on point, right? And they didn't have the one-on-one. So again, another thing that's really, like you brought up, that's missing from like the mega fitness centers is that one-on-one contact. So
Nutritional component.
They even get a chance,
But yeah, it really is about, accountability is really the missing link for most people when it comes to nutrition and exercise, and having that accountability to someone other than yourself. And it really usually doesn't work if it's a friend or a family member either, because you can say, whatever. But having a professional that you're accountable to, that's taking an active interest in your success. To me, it seems like out of 100 people who join a gym who don't have accountability and some type of structured, organized program, if you go back and visit those 100 people in about 60 days, you're probably lucky if you find 10 of them that are still using that center with enough consistency to make a difference. They might be sporadic at best, but and that's another thing that I've noticed about personal training. When you're working with a good guy or girl who's a personal trainer who holds you accountable, who says, listen, I'm going to take an active interest in your success. You're going to make a promise to me that you're going to be here 3 days a week. I'm going to make a promise to you that when you come in, I'm going to have an effective workout that's safe and organized for you to do. I can help you with your nutrition. And we're a team working together. And by the way, if you don't come in and keep your promise, I'm going to call you on the phone. And those are all things that I've developed here that any good personal trainer should do. But success rates can go, from what I've seen in my career, when you're working with the right person, from 10% out of 100 people to over 90%. And it's a huge difference just having that available.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. Let's talk about if somebody's watching this, or they've already decided they want to be a personal trainer, run a gym, maybe Herbalife coach, but maybe they don't feel like they have all the skill set there. What are some of the skills you think people need to develop aside from a passion for fitness? Sounds like both of you are good salespeople. What are some things they need to work on?
Well, that's one of the main things. I hate to keep going back to that, but you've got to be in it for the right reasons. You've got to be a person that's interested in helping people and really just, feel rewarded that you're able to affect a change in someone's life. Everybody doesn't have that. So if somebody's going into it for any other reason, then number one, that's the goal. I want to be in something that I can get up every day and affect a change in someone's life. And probably have some, fairly decent communication skills and, some drive and some ability, because just like anything else in life, I mean, you've got to get up every day and have the energy to do whatever that it is that you're doing. One good thing about living the fitness lifestyle is you have more energy, because once you are able to break food addictions and start feeding your body right, and people are surprised, and they're really surprised how quickly, when we put them on a nutritional plan, and take an interest in their success, how quickly they can break those addictions and it's usually sugar and way too many complex carbohydrates, maybe not getting enough micronutrients in their body with vegetables that are feeding our cells to to regenerate in a healthy manner and have a strong immune system. But just that fire and drive and energy and commitment to helping others, and then just start acquiring the knowledge to do it.
Right. Okay. What do you think, Joseph?
Yeah, I think just to add on that, I mean, you have to, one, really love people.
You're working with people.
You're working with people all the time, and also have your own personal result that you're after. Because you as a coach want to set the standard for your clients, right? And for me, I think sometimes it's helped me stay on my game. And I'll be off my game. Well, hey, I'm a human being, right? We all get off track, but actually it helps to get back on track, because you know what? You're setting the standard for somebody else. So having your own personal goals, your own personal, I mean, it's something of, it's something you're passionate about. So when you're looking for team members, there is or sometimes a romantic idea of being your own, your own self-employed, your own business owner, entrepreneur, right? That's kind of a very catchy thing. But it's like, but you have to also want, to do the work, right? And the drive and the passion, and have a bigger goal. Then be coachable, because I can imagine that you'll get people that, hey, I can teach you everything, right? You need the basics, right? People skills, a drive, a passion. But are you also coachable? Are you also able to, I'm going to use your facility because Banz36 is amazing, guys. I'm serious, it's amazing. Are you able to come in here and allow Greg to really share that vision, that he has for the place, and you say and you do it exactly as he does? You might have some ideas, but, but they may not fit what the facility or Greg is trying to create. So being coachable is a big part of it. And in our life, I mean, as a coach, you can do anything anywhere. But being a person of integrity, having high integrity for yourself, your own goals, and also your vision that you have. Yeah.
And so you've probably seen many Herbalife coaches, just being part of that
industry.
Yeah. What have been like the most successful people you've seen? What have set them apart from
others? Passion. Okay. I mean, it's just like real, absolute, unabated passion.
Okay.
Passion for their own results. They get amazing results, number one, and they just go out there and they want to touch every single life, because they feel like it made a huge difference for them on where they were at. And some of them, came from where it was economic or health reasons, given almost a new lease on life, right? And it's like everybody needs an access to this. Everybody needs a chance at feeling great, feeling amazing, wake up in the morning with just absolute like excitement for life, right? Excitement for life. And that's what really, when I see some of the people I consider my mentors, I probably look up to, I just say, wow, man, they just fired up all the time. They might have bad days, right? Everybody's got them, but it's like 10%, and they go, boom, I'm alive, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that passion for life and people, really people.
Okay.
Focused.
So would it be fair to say, maybe for both of you, if you weren't in fitness training, you'd be in another people-related role of some sort? What do you think?
I'd be a movie star. I'd be out in Hollywood.
This is your break.
There you go.
I started going, when I got out of the military, I had a friend said, let's go out there. But I came home. I'm kidding.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, why not? Any other, what would you do if you weren't doing this?
I have a really good friend of mine who owns a security company, and I
Okay.
thought about that before, because that's, something that, probably you have a need for, home security, business security, maybe something like that. But, I've really tried not to even let my mind go there because I'm just so satisfied with what I'm doing. But it would be something that would be a useful thing that I would feel that, somebody could really need. I don't think I would ever be good at, any kind of sales, like car salesman or anything like that, because there's so many options for those things. But, I would do anything that, whatever I would have to do to pay the bills, if I had to get out of this
But do you mention
industry.
security because it would be a good financial job, or because you feel like you could protect people? What drives you there?
I feel that would be the reason that
Right.
that's something that I feel like, financial, I could probably support myself, and something that, would be something that would be admirable to do, that there could be a need for. And you talk about, you only have to, if you sell the security system, if it just prevents one incident, that could be, something that could really change somebody's life.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
maybe something in along those lines.
Okay. What about you, Joseph? Other careers you would consider?
I think I'd love. It has to involve people. It has to involve traveling. I love traveling.
Okay.
So photography, I think I could be like a National Geographic photographer. I think that would be
Right.
cool.
You could go back to Kenya and take a picture.
You know, just things that kind of get me in new places. I just love the idea of just new places. I love to travel. And one of the things I look forward to in the future is motivational speaking is actually a big thing. It's a big thing that that moves me. So who knows what that's going to look like. But involve people, involve kids. I just gotta have kids.
So have you
Oh,
done
that'd
that
be
with
great.
youth groups and done motivational speaking
A little
before?
bit,
Yeah,
a little bit.
okay.
Not on the same, not a grand scale, but I have done
Right.
a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
What about you, Greg? Do you ever go teach other trainers how to become personal trainers?
Well, I have my own certification course for Banz36
Okay.
training. So anybody who works for me has to go through. I mean, it's just a course that I've set up. It's a 3-day thing that we have to go through, and I have a test at the end. But as far as what I recommend is anybody who wants to get into personal training, really look for an accredited personal training certificate like ACE, American Council on Exercise, or ISSA is another one. But they have all the materials and everything that you need, and the study course. And I know with ACE, I had to go to Atlanta to take a test, and it came with back then it came with cassettes that I had to listen to, and big manuals. So it's a pretty extensive, test that I had to take and pass. And then it's just experience, over 25 years, continue, doing this on a daily basis.
Are there certain college degrees someone should focus in to be in this area, like exercise science or
That would be
others
great.
that would
Yeah, exercise,
helpful?
that would be helpful. Of course, there's physical therapy, which is a whole different line, and then, you're working in the medical industry there. But, I know people in my business who went and got degrees in marketing, and there was one guy that I worked with who had a degree in engineering and decided to get into the fitness
Okay.
business.
or biochemistry?
Biochemistry. So, it's a pretty diverse group, but you definitely want to acquire the knowledge, and those certifications through accredited agencies like that, you really do acquire a lot of knowledge. And then just the day-to-day of getting involved with, a company or organization that can have that ongoing training on a daily basis.
Okay.
I was actually going to ask him a question on that.
sure, go ahead.
So I'm an aspiring personal trainer. I think I like it. I might do the exam, and then I pick one, pick ACE or whatever it is, and go. Okay, I got my results.
Yeah.
Now what?
I guess it's time to go to work, get a job. You got to get a job. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, how do you pick the right
come see
job?
me.
Yeah, how do you exactly come to Banz36 first?
Well,
right?
you don't want to get in the gym like I was talking about earlier,
Yeah.
where it's just
It's
all
all sales.
pressure and so you want to get in a company. And believe me, we all have to, in any business, we have bills to pay.
Yeah.
But that type of place you don't want to get involved with. But just find a local gym, or there's a lot of franchises now. There's Anytime Fitnesses, and I don't want to go ahead and mention any competitors here on this show, but they all have the same situation I was talking about earlier. If you're a certified trainer, you're going to work for that company, and they're going to probably sign up people, and they're going to give them to you, and you're going to take them through a really good workout, because I know you're going to learn, well, especially if you go through one of those certifications.
Yeah.
But when you sit that client down, you're going to probably talk to them about, if you're in a typical gym, paying you $40, $50, $60 a session for that. You might get frustrated out of the amount of people who would actually do that. So I would recommend, you come talk to me, and I could help you get involved in something like this that I think, again, could affect people in a much more positive way that would be more affordable, and you could help more people through something like this. But there's all kind of opportunities. Don't get me wrong. There's all kind of opportunities in health clubs and even personal training centers that are opened up all over the place. Again, there's a lot of options that you have. My motivation in this is just I've created a way to do it in an environment that I can help a lot of people at once and give an identical personal training workout to at a much more affordable price.
So like a small group fitness.
Yeah, but it's identical to if I was training someone one-on-one.
Okay.
But people kind of like it. They like it more because they kind of feed off each other's energy.
They like to be in the small groups.
Yeah, because they kind of, again, it's just more energetic, and results tend to be better.
Right. Greg, what are some plans you have for Banz36? Do you want to expand the model?
Yeah, I really don't know how big it's going to grow. I mean, I'm the type of person, I'm happy with this, but I mean, I'm always looking for opportunity. I mean, eventually, I plan on being here for a while and developing this and making sure that we have good people here. And I wouldn't be against maybe on the other side of town having something, and then maybe even looking back down in South Carolina eventually to open up a couple of locations. But if it expands from there, that's great. I just get up every day, go to work, do my best, and whatever opportunities come my way, that's great.
Do you find as a personal trainer that people ask you for life advice or other things unrelated to fitness?
Like a
because
bartender?
talking about? Does that ever happen?
Occasionally. But I mean, I like to keep it professional and stuff. Because you definitely develop relationships with your clients, and you hear all kind of things. But when they're working out here, one of the good things about this, the way I have this, is when they walk in the door, they're moving the whole time, and their heart rate's up. I mean, they're not like that they're out of breath or anything, but there's not a lot of conversation, with that, because this is kind of an ongoing training class that we're doing. But yeah, I've heard some unusual things.
Yeah. Okay. So,
and I have given some advice before when asked.
I'm sure. I can imagine over working with people for many years.
Oh yeah.
Joseph, do you have any further questions for Greg about running the business or being a fitness coach?
Yeah, I think one of the things, again, we've kind of touched on a lot, but the marketing aspect of it, just going out there in the community and really being able to enroll the community in what you're doing.
Sure.
What have you found is the most effective way to do that? Really
just marketing programs. Like I have different programs called Get Your Body Back Challenges. I do, sometimes I have a plan that's called a 21-day weight loss fix. Just giving people marketing programs, a lot of times that are just temporary, so people can come in and try out what you're doing and compare what you're doing. I invite comparison, you know, for anyone to, and again, knowing there's other options. But just, you know, there's what I call guerrilla marketing, hanging door hangers on people's doors, going out in the community to businesses. And, you know, there's a lot of businesses now, if you talk to the human resource department, that they want to find ways to inspire and motivate their employees to eat healthy and exercise, because they know that that can cut down on healthcare costs. Someone who is eating healthy and exercising, who is an employee of most companies, are going to be more productive, have fewer sick days. So good companies are looking for plans and sponsoring different plans. So I like to go out and talk, and I've been successful doing that. And then just, you know, there's newspaper, radio, advertising, things like this are great as well. But just getting your name out in the community, because that's all I want. I just want, when somebody is out there and they go to the doctor and the doctor says, listen, you need to start eating healthy and exercising, I want somebody to think that, well, I heard about that Banz36 Fitness and Weight Loss, because they've seen me enough time. I just want to be in the mix, because I know there's other options that they have. So you just got to keep your name out the best you can, and eventually if people hear about you enough times, they'll come in and give you a shot. And if you do a good job, and if you're, again, in it for the right reasons, then you're going to get a high percentage of those people to want to be a part of what you're doing.
Great. Yeah, thanks a lot, Greg and Joseph. We're going to wrap it up for today, but I've learned a lot about the industry, and I hope both of you have had a good conversation here. And
Absolutely. I really appreciate it.
Great. I also admire what both of you do and think it's very beneficial to the people that work with you to be in better shape and live longer and healthier lives. So thanks for doing that.
Oh, very good.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, great. So I'm Marc Allen, and this is Cash 22. Thanks for joining us.